We live in a world where pleasure is always one tap away. It's fast, easy, and addictive. People scroll through their phones, stumble on a video, and within minutes, they give in to the urge. For many, it's just a habit, something they do out of boredom or stress. But what if I told you that every orgasm you have is not just a release of tension, but a major drain on your life force? This idea might sound extreme at first. You've probably never heard it from your teachers, doctors, or parents. In fact, most people are taught that it's natural and healthy to get it out. But ancient teachings, spiritual masters, and even some modern thinkers would strongly disagree. They knew something we've forgotten. Your sexual energy is sacred. And when you release it carelessly, you don't just lose a bit of fluid, you lose power. Deep, invisible, vital power. Let's take a moment and think about this. After an orgasm, how do you feel? Really think about it. For a few seconds, maybe even a minute, there's pleasure. You might feel relaxed. But what comes next? A strange emptiness? A drop in energy? Guilt? A foggy head? No motivation? That's not just in your mind. That's real. It's your body and spirit reacting to what just happened. You gave away something that your body spent days creating. And in return, you got a few seconds of pleasure. Now, imagine doing that every single day, or multiple times a day. You're constantly draining your energy tank and never giving it a chance to refill. It's like pouring water from a cup that's never full. At first, you won't notice the effects. But over time, you'll feel tired more often. You'll find it harder to focus. You'll feel less connected to yourself, to others, and even to the world around you. Here's the truth. Every orgasm costs you energy. Real energy. It's not just about muscle movement or dopamine. It's about your core essence, what ancient traditions called life force. In Sanskrit, it's called ojas. In Taoist practices, it's jing. In spiritual science, it's the raw fuel that powers your mind, body, and soul. When you hold on to it, you shine. You radiate. You walk differently. Talk differently. Think differently. But when you lose it again and again, you grow weaker. Not just physically, but energetically. Let's break this down even further. When a man ejaculates, his body releases millions of sperm. But it's not just about reproduction. Those sperm cells are made with zinc, protein, enzymes, hormones, and other nutrients that your body worked hard to create. It takes a lot of internal effort to build them. Your body uses your best resources, your minerals, your energy, your blood essence, to produce that seed. So when you release it, you're not just blowing off steam. You're throwing away your most concentrated form of energy. Women experience a similar thing. While the orgasm process is different, the energetic drop after climax is real. The heart rate slows. The brain shifts. There's a cooling of the body's energy field. If done too often or without intention, it leaves you feeling disconnected and depleted. Especially when the climax isn't with a loving partner, but with a screen. Or when it's not from true passion, but from habit. And that's the big problem. We've turned sacred energy into a cheap thrill. Something that's supposed to create life, heal the body, and awaken the soul has become a way to escape boredom. It's like using a golden knife to open a plastic package. Completely misused. Now, you might be wondering, why 3 days? Where does that number come from? Let's look at it in simple terms. After a man ejaculates, his body takes time to recover. Ancient Taoist texts mention that the energy needed to rebuild the semen takes up to 72 hours. That's 3 full days. During that time, the man is not at full power. His aura is thinner. His confidence may drop. His focus becomes weaker. His drive is lower. And even his immune system might be less effective. Modern studies hint at this too. Testosterone, the hormone tied to motivation, strength, and clarity, drops right after ejaculation. It takes time to build back up. The body shifts into a recovery mode. Some researchers even noted a significant spike in testosterone after 7 days of no release. So if you're constantly orgasming, you never give your body a chance to hit that natural high point. You stay stuck in the low. It's the same with spiritual energy. Your chakras, especially the sacral chakra and the third eye, are deeply affected by sexual activity. Every time you release, you move energy downward and outward. But when you retain, you allow that energy to rise, to open higher centers of awareness. This is why monks, sages, and mystics often practice celibacy. Not because sex is evil, but because energy is precious. And don't get it wrong, this isn't about shame. This isn't about fear. This is about understanding. About choosing wisely. You are free to use your energy however you want. But once you know the cost, you begin to think differently. Is it worth it to trade 3 days of focus, strength, and clarity for 3 seconds of pleasure? That's the question that many are now starting to ask. In the modern world, most people are tired, anxious, and distracted. They don't feel in control of their lives. But what if part of the answer isn't out there in some new app, diet, or hack, but inside? What if part of the solution is learning how to protect your own energy? You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to stop everything. But you do need to be aware. Because awareness leads to power. And when you realize what you're really giving up each time you climax mindlessly, you might start to feel differently about that next urge. You might pause. You might reflect. And in that pause, something beautiful happens. You take your power back. You become more than a man or woman following a habit. You become someone who chooses. And that choice, that's the beginning of transformation. Long before the internet, before smartphones and constant distraction, ancient civilizations understood something powerful, something that modern science is only beginning to remember. They knew that sexual energy wasn't just for pleasure or reproduction. It was sacred. It was life itself. And it had to be respected, not wasted. Across the world, from east to west, from temples to caves, the most enlightened beings, sages, monks, mystics, and warriors, were taught one key principle. Control your seed, and you control your life. Let's begin in ancient China. The Taoist masters believed that Jing was the essence of your physical and spiritual vitality. Jing was your base energy, the root of your health, your strength, and your lifespan. It was stored in the kidneys and slowly used up over time. But the fastest way to lose it? Sexual release. The Taoists weren't against sex. In fact, they studied it deeply. But they taught that a man should only release his seed on rare occasions and never without purpose. They practiced techniques to have sex without ejaculation, to circulate energy through the body instead of losing it. They called this retaining the elixir of life. Because to them, that seed was pure gold. They weren't alone. In ancient India, the yogis had a similar idea. They spoke of ojas, the finest product of the body's digestion and energy system. Ojas was believed to rise when a person lived in purity, through clean food, good thoughts, meditation, and sexual discipline. Losing semen too often, they said, would cause a drop in ojas. The body would feel tired. The mind would get dull. The spirit would weaken. But when ojas was strong, a person had glowing skin, strong will, peaceful thoughts, and powerful presence. One of the most respected texts in yogic philosophy, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, states clearly that he who conserves his semen acquires spiritual strength. It even says that by retaining your seed, you can awaken Kundalini energy, the dormant spiritual power coiled at the base of the spine. When released properly, this energy rises through the chakras, opening higher states of consciousness. But when that energy is lost, it stays stuck at the lower levels, never awakening your true potential. Let's move westward to ancient Egypt. The priests and initiates in the temples of Kemet, the original name for Egypt, also practiced forms of retention and transmutation. They believed that sexual energy was tied directly to creation and manifestation. The god Adam, for example, created the universe through the power of his own energy, not through an act of physical mating, but through an intentional release of force. Symbolically, this told the initiates, your sexual power is divine. Don't waste it on physical urges. Use it to create worlds, inside yourself and outside. Even in early Christianity, there were echoes of this truth. The Desert Fathers, the early monks, and mystics like Saint Augustine and Saint John of the Cross all warned of the spiritual fog that follows sexual excess. They weren't just being strict. They had experienced firsthand that energy wasted through lust leads to confusion, weakness, and a sense of separation from God. It's important to see a pattern here. These teachings weren't about shame. They weren't saying that sex is evil. They were saying that sex is powerful. And like all power, it must be handled with care. You don't give a child a matchstick and walk away. You don't let just anyone drive a race car. And you don't throw your energy away without understanding its cost. That's how the ancients saw it. Now let's look at warriors, those trained not just in mind, but also in body. The samurai in Japan often practiced celibacy before battle. Why? Because they believed that their focus, calmness, and life force would be stronger if they kept their seed. In modern sports, many top athletes, boxers, martial artists, even Olympic champions, have spoken about not ejaculating before major competitions. They say it gives them more power, more clarity, more fire. Even Mike Tyson admitted that during his early training, he would avoid sex for weeks before a big fight. Why would these physically tough men care about something so small? Because they knew, it's not small. It's everything. Sexual energy is like nuclear energy. In its raw form, it can explode. But when directed, it can light up a city. It can change your life. There are even modern spiritual leaders who carry this wisdom. People like Gopi Krishna, Mantak Chia, and Swami Sivananda all taught that semen is not just a fluid. It is the battery of the soul. To waste it regularly is to live in a half-charged state. To protect it is to walk in power. Mantak Chia, a modern Taoist master, has written that ejaculation is like a loss of electricity. He teaches techniques to recycle the energy so that instead of losing it outward, you can send it up the spine and into the brain, nourishing your mind and spirit. This is also where nofap and semen retention movements come in today. Many men, and some women, have started to rediscover these truths. They report more energy, clearer thinking, deeper sleep, stronger confidence, and even spiritual awakening, all from simply not wasting their energy on quick pleasure. What's fascinating is that almost every tradition agrees on one thing. Your seed is sacred. It is the essence of who you are. It's your body's most refined gift. Whether you call it semen, ajas, jing, or life force, it's the same. And when you hold on to it, you unlock something rare in today's world, real power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. In ancient times, this was known as self-mastery, the ability to feel a strong desire and choose not to follow it. Not out of fear, not out of guilt, but out of wisdom. Because now, you understand what's really happening. Every time you hold back, you store energy. You store fire. And over time, that fire becomes light. Not just the light in your eyes or your skin, but the light of awareness, the light of truth, the light of your own awakening. So what do you do with that light? That's what we'll explore in the next key point. What really happens to your energy after you orgasm, and why it costs you 3 full days to return to balance. Let's get real for a moment. You feel the urge. You follow it. You orgasm. And for a few seconds, you feel amazing, maybe even powerful. But then, almost like a switch flipping, the feeling fades. The high drops. You feel lazy, tired, maybe even a little bit empty. You don't know why, but something inside you feels off. That's not just in your imagination. Something real happened. Something deep. When you orgasm, your body goes through a massive internal shift. It's not just muscles and movement. It's not just a quick pulse of pleasure. It's an energetic event, a storm. Your nervous system floods with dopamine, your heart rate spikes, your breath shortens, and for a few seconds, your brain is flooded with chemicals. That rush of pleasure is a release, yes, but also a discharge. Your energy, your strength, your focus, they all leave the body. Not just through the physical release, but through the loss of electrical and spiritual charge. The ancient traditions weren't guessing when they said that an orgasm drains you. Now, science is catching up. Let's break it down. First, there's dopamine. This is the feel-good chemical. It's what you get when you eat chocolate, win a game, or hear good news. But orgasm is one of the biggest dopamine spikes you can experience. The brain floods with it. You feel great for a few seconds, but after that, dopamine crashes. Your body doesn't like staying at high levels for long. It pulls back. Suddenly, you go from a peak to a valley. This is why people feel tired, sad, or even irritable after releasing. It's not just in your head. It's a chemical crash. Next comes prolactin. This is a hormone released after orgasm that makes you feel sleepy, unmotivated, and distant. It's the reason why many people want nothing to do with anyone right after climax. It creates a recovery mode in the body. Some studies show that prolactin can stay elevated for hours. And during this time, your energy is low, your willpower drops, and your mental clarity fades. Then there's testosterone. This one is especially important for men. After ejaculation, testosterone levels take a dip. This hormone is tied to your strength, confidence, drive, and mental sharpness. When it drops, so do those traits. And it takes time to rebuild. Some research even shows that testosterone peaks around 7 days after abstaining. That means if you're releasing every day, or even every other day, you're never reaching your peak energy. You're stuck in a low-power mode. But it's not just about hormones. There's something deeper, your subtle energy. Call it chi, prana, or life force. It's the invisible power that flows through your body. Orgasm releases a massive wave of this energy out of your system. In men, it exits through the lower chakras. In women, it also radiates outward. That energy doesn't just disappear. It leaves you. And unless you're practicing techniques to recirculate or rebuild it, you're walking around with less power than you should have. That's where the 3 days idea comes in. According to Taoist masters, it takes up to 72 hours, 3 full days, for your body to fully restore the energy lost during orgasm. That's not just rebuilding semen. It's about recovering the energetic balance, recharging the nervous system, restoring hormone levels, clearing mental fog, and pulling your focus back to center. During those 3 days, your system is vulnerable. You might feel unmotivated, emotionally flat, spiritually distant, physically weaker, mentally slower. And if you release again before those 3 days are over, you don't give your body a chance to heal. You start the cycle again. Lower and lower your energy goes, until you're living at a fraction of your full capacity. You start to believe that's just how life is. But it's not. It's how depleted life feels. Let's compare this to saving money. Imagine someone gives you $100 of energy every day. When you release, you spend $300 in one moment. You're now in debt for 2 days. And instead of resting, you spend more the next day. Now you're in debt for 4 days. Eventually, your energy bank account is empty, and you don't even know what it's like to feel rich in spirit anymore. This is why people who stop for just a week report huge changes. They say things like, "I feel clearer. I wake up with energy again. I feel more confident. People notice something different about me. I have more control over my mind." It's not magic. It's just balance returning. You see, your body is incredibly intelligent. It knows how to create life. It knows how to build the seed, how to direct hormones, how to align energy. But you have to let it. You have to stop interrupting the process. That's the key. If you stop wasting energy, you don't have to work harder to gain power. You just have to stop losing it. Now here's something even more interesting. Energy doesn't just fall after orgasm. It often goes to who or what you were focused on. Think about that. If you climax to a video, you're sending your energy into pixels on a screen. If you climax to a fantasy, you're feeding a thought form. If you climax during deep, loving union, maybe that energy transforms into something beautiful. But in most modern cases, it's wasted on emptiness. That energy could have been used to strengthen your body, create art, build a business, heal trauma, connect with the divine, change your life. But instead, it's gone. And you're left wondering why you feel stuck, tired, or uninspired. This is why the ancients took this seriously. They understood that energy follows attention, and attention during orgasm is incredibly powerful. Wherever your mind is in that moment, your energy flows. That's why dark fantasies can weaken the spirit. That's why random scrolling can destroy discipline. That's why sacred intimacy can lift your vibration, and why lust without love can bring you down. In simple terms, your orgasm is a prayer. Whether you know it or not, you're sending a message to the universe. You're releasing life force. You're declaring what you value, and the universe responds accordingly. So now that you know what really happens after you release, you face a choice. Will you keep giving away 3 days of your power for 3 seconds of pleasure? Or will you try something different, something ancient, something powerful, something sacred? In the next key point, we'll explore what happens inside your pineal gland, the spiritual third eye, and how regular orgasm affects your intuition, your vision, and your spiritual awakening in ways you might have never imagined. Deep in the center of your brain lies a tiny, mysterious gland. It's only the size of a grain of rice, but its power is enormous. Ancient traditions, spiritual teachers, and even modern scientists have spoken about it. It's called the pineal gland, and many believe it's the gateway to higher consciousness, your third eye. The pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone. That's not a coincidence. The pine cone has been used as a symbol of spiritual awakening for centuries. You'll see it in ancient Egyptian art, in the hands of gods from Hindu mythology, and even in the Vatican's massive pine cone courtyard. They knew this gland wasn't ordinary. They knew it had a role in seeing beyond the physical world. But here's what most people don't realize. Your daily habits either activate this gland or shut it down. And nothing shuts it down faster than constant orgasm. Let's unpack this. The pineal gland is responsible for producing melatonin, which regulates your sleep cycle. But more importantly, it's tied to the production of dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, the so-called spirit molecule. This chemical is believed to be released during deep meditation, at birth, and at death. It's what allows you to dream, visualize, and access higher dimensions of thought and experience. In other words, it's your connection to the unseen. Now think about this. Every time you orgasm without awareness, especially to artificial stimulation, you're not just losing physical energy. You're creating a crash in your nervous system. Your body shifts from a high-frequency spiritual state to a low-frequency animal state. It's like turning off a light switch in your brain, and the one that dims the most, your third eye. When you're constantly releasing, you're telling your body that instant pleasure is more important than deep awareness. That message doesn't just affect your hormones. It affects your brain. Over time, the pineal gland becomes less active. You stop dreaming vividly. You stop feeling connected to your higher self. You lose the sense of magic and wonder. Life becomes dull. You become blind, not in your eyes, but in your spirit. Ancient cultures knew this. They practiced long periods of sexual abstinence or sacred union to preserve spiritual vision. The yogis called it brahmacharya, a state where you conserve your vital energy to awaken divine consciousness. They didn't just avoid release. They used the energy to rise through the chakras. The Taoists moved it up the spine. The Egyptians stored it in the body's light chamber. All of them pointed to one truth. When you hold your energy, your third eye opens. Now let's talk about modern science. The pineal gland is sensitive to light and darkness. Too much artificial light, especially from screens, confuses it. And guess what most people do when they release? They're staring at a screen. Blue light, fast-moving images, artificial sounds, all of it floods the brain and overloads the pineal gland. Over time, it calcifies. Literally. Studies show that fluoride, found in many water supplies, collects in the pineal gland and hardens it. Combine that with constant orgasm and digital stimulation, and what do you get? A closed third eye. So what does that actually feel like? You feel foggy. You forget your dreams. Your instincts feel off. You struggle to meditate. You don't feel in tune with anything. You seek answers from outside, not within. And worst of all, you lose the ability to see your path clearly. You become reactive instead of intuitive. You chase instead of create. You listen to noise instead of inner guidance. But here's the good news. You can reactivate your pineal gland. It starts by retaining your energy. Every day you hold back from unconscious release. You give your body time to rebalance. The nervous system calms down. The hormones stabilize. The dopamine finds its rhythm. And the pineal gland begins to recover. You might start dreaming again. You might wake up with clarity. You might feel a deep stillness in your mind. The next step is to reduce artificial stimulation. Less screen time. Less bright lights at night. More time in nature. More time in silence. These are things the ancients did naturally. Their pineal glands were wide open. Ours are buried under distractions. Then comes the spiritual practices. Meditation, breath work, visualization. These aren't just tools for relaxation. They're exercises to awaken the third eye. When combined with seed retention, they create an inner fire that lights up the mind. People report moments of vision, intuition that feels sharp, synchronicities, guidance from within. These are signs that your inner eye is opening. Let's make this simple. Orgasm is like a short circuit, especially when it's done with no love, no connection, no awareness. Your energy shoots out. Your brain goes dark. Your third eye closes. But when you retain, when you breathe, when you slow down, you begin to glow. Not on the outside. Inside. This glow is real. People can feel it around you. Your voice sounds different. Your presence becomes magnetic. You don't have to say much. Your energy speaks. You're tapped into something bigger. You become aligned. And here's something even deeper. The pineal gland is shaped like an eye because it is one, not just symbolically. It has rods and cones, just like your physical eyes. It responds to light. It sees things, not in the physical world, but in the inner world. This is the eye you use to see truth, to sense energy, to know yourself. But you can't see truth if you keep blinding yourself with mindless pleasure. Every release without purpose is like putting another layer of dust over your third eye. Every time you choose awareness instead, you clean the lens a little more. You sharpen your vision. And the clearer your vision, the easier it becomes to walk your path. You're no longer just surviving. You're seeing, knowing, living. This is why so many ancient texts say the same thing. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. That eye is your pineal gland. And your light, that's your energy, your sexual energy, your spiritual power, your divine fire. When you protect your energy, you protect your light. And when your light is strong, there's no room for confusion. You walk with purpose. You think clearly. You speak with power. You dream boldly. You awaken to who you really are. And that's what we'll explore in the next section. What happens when you stop releasing completely, even just for a short time, and the powerful transformation that begins. Now that you know the truth about what you lose when you release, your energy, your clarity, your connection, it's time to talk about the other side of the coin. What happens when you stop? At first, it might seem hard. The urges are strong. The habit feels deep. But something inside you knows there's more. A whisper, maybe even a roar saying, try. Just try. See what happens. And when you do, the change is not just noticeable, it's powerful. Let's take it step by step. What really happens when you stop releasing for a few days, a week, or even longer? First, your energy begins to return. Not just a little boost, real energy. The kind that wakes you up in the morning with fire. The kind that keeps you focused without coffee. The kind that makes people ask, what's different about you? You're not tired all the time anymore. You walk taller. You think faster. You feel alive. That's because your body isn't in recovery mode anymore. Remember, every orgasm takes 2 to 3 days to bounce back from. If you're constantly releasing, your body is always behind, healing, rebuilding, trying to catch up. But when you stop, it finally gets a chance to recharge, to rise above baseline, to thrive. Your hormones stabilize, testosterone rises, confidence increases, your immune system strengthens, your sleep gets deeper, your eyes get brighter. You don't just feel better, you become better. Then comes the mental clarity. Something incredible happens around day 7 to 10. The fog lifts. Your thoughts become sharp. You can focus on tasks longer. You're not easily distracted. You begin to get ideas again, strong, creative ideas. You might start reading, writing, building things. You stop consuming, and you start creating. That's because your brain isn't being drained anymore. Your dopamine receptors are healing. Your attention span stretches. You become the master of your own mind again. Even more amazing, the emotional changes. Without constant release, you begin to feel more grounded. You're not riding emotional roller coasters anymore. You don't fall apart over small things. You don't feel numb or hollow after short bursts of pleasure. Instead, you develop emotional stability. You feel more masculine, more feminine, more complete. You start to hold space for yourself and others. You react less and reflect more. This is when people start to notice. They may not know what you're doing, but they can feel it. They might say things like, "You seem different lately. Your energy is strong. You're glowing. I feel calm around you." That's not just in their head. Your aura is changing. Your sexual energy, when retained, doesn't just sit there. It starts to circulate, to rise. The ancient systems weren't wrong. This energy moves from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. And as it moves, it nourishes every part of you. It powers your speech, so you speak with conviction. It charges your heart, so you connect with people on a deeper level. It fuels your eyes, so you look with presence, not desperation. It fills your mind, so your thoughts are precise, confident, creative. You become magnetic, not because you're chasing anyone, but because you've become a full battery in a world of drained people. Others are drawn to that. They feel it. Even animals, children, and strangers can sense it. It's primal. It's spiritual. It's you fully activated. You might notice strange things too. People staring at you for no reason. Old friends reaching out. Sudden breakthroughs in your goals or finances. A deep sense of knowing things before they happen. More synchronicities and moments of flow. This is your spiritual energy returning. What was leaking before is now building. And when it builds, it expands. Your field grows. Your influence grows. Your connection to source, to the universe, to your purpose, it all sharpens. Now let's be real. It's not always easy. There will be urges. There will be moments where your mind tries to trick you. Just once won't hurt. You deserve it. It's natural. But deep down, you know better. You felt the difference. You remember how drained you used to be. How flat your spirit felt. How cloudy your thoughts were. And now, you're strong, clear, focused. You've reclaimed something sacred. That's why the journey of retention isn't just about avoiding something. It's about becoming someone. The man who controls his urges controls his world. The woman who protects her energy becomes a beacon. The soul that stops leaking becomes a light that leads. This is why so many spiritual masters, warriors, and creators practice this path. Nikola Tesla, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, Swami Sivananda, Leonardo da Vinci, men of energy, vision, and creation. They weren't perfect, but they understood one truth. Sexual energy is power, and power must be protected. The more you retain, the more you return to your natural state. Awake, balanced, radiant, driven, clear. You don't become someone else. You become you, the real you. The one that was buried under habits, shame, and short-term pleasure. The one that was waiting to rise. And here's something you'll discover. Once you taste this level of energy and clarity, you won't want to go back. Not because someone told you not to, but because you'll love how it feels to be full, focused, and free. You'll realize that your energy is not a toy. It's not something to waste in a few seconds of escape. It's your birthright, your currency, your connection to the divine. And once you own it, you begin to build with it. That's where we go next. In the final key point, we'll talk about how to take all this energy you're holding and turn it into something greater. How to use it to create, heal, grow, and manifest the life you've always felt inside you. Because holding the power is just the start. Using it is the true path. By now, you understand what happens when you waste your energy. You feel weaker, foggy, disconnected. But when you stop, when you retain, when you protect, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, the lights come on. You feel stronger, sharper, more alive. But here's the big question most people miss. What do you do with all that energy? Because make no mistake, retaining your energy is only step one. What you do with it is what truly changes your life. Think of your sexual energy like fire. You can waste it by letting it burn out in random directions, or you can channel it into something beautiful. You can warm a home, forge a sword, light a path. That's the real art of transmutation, not just holding energy, but using it to become who you were meant to be. Let's break this down into simple, real ways you can start turning this sacred energy into fuel for growth. 1. Creative power. One of the fastest ways to transmute your energy is through creative expression. Think about it. Sexual energy is the energy of creation. It's literally the power to create life. So when you stop using it to make pleasure, your body naturally wants to create something else. This is why so many artists, musicians, writers, and inventors experience a surge of creative power when they practice retention. You might feel the sudden urge to paint, write a song, start a business, design something. Don't ignore that. That's your energy speaking. That's your soul telling you, let's build something. Use that fire. The more you create, the more your energy rises. It becomes a loop. Energy fuels action, action fuels purpose, purpose fuels passion, and passion strengthens your energy. This is how the cycle works when you're not leaking power. You become a force of creation. 2. Physical movement. Your body was designed to move. Energy trapped inside you becomes toxic if it's not flowing. That's why physical activity is so powerful. It helps you circulate your retained energy. You don't have to be an athlete. Just start with daily stretching, yoga, long walks in nature, bodyweight training, martial arts, dancing. Movement connects body and spirit. It grounds your energy and makes you feel rooted, present, alive. The more you move, the less those urges control you. Because instead of sitting in your body like pressure, your energy starts flowing like electricity. Controlled, powerful, focused. And don't forget breath work. Most people breathe shallow, but your breath is the key to unlocking higher energy. Try this simple technique. Deep belly inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Repeat for a few minutes. This calms your nervous system and activates inner power. It sends your sexual energy up instead of out. 3. Spiritual practice. Now we go deeper. Retaining energy allows you to access higher states of awareness, but only if you give yourself the space to connect. That means regular spiritual practice. It can be simple: silent meditation, chanting or mantra, prayer with intention, journaling your thoughts, candle gazing, visualization. These are not just nice habits. They're tools for transmutation. When you sit in silence with your energy, something magical happens. You begin to feel your soul again. You remember who you are beyond the body. You connect to something greater. One powerful technique. Visualize your energy rising from your base, up your spine, through your heart, into your third eye. Imagine it as golden light. Breathe into it. Hold it. Let it spread. This turns sexual fire into spiritual light. Do this consistently, and over time, your energy doesn't just stay in you, it expands beyond you. You start affecting the world around you just by your presence. People feel you before you speak. They listen when you talk. Not because you try to impress, but because your frequency is high, clean, strong. 4. Purpose and direction. Most people drift. They chase little pleasures, avoid pain, and call that life. But you've chosen something different. You're no longer a slave to your urges. You're a master of your energy. And that means you need a mission. Start small. Ask yourself, what am I here to do? What excites me beyond pleasure? What problem do I want to solve? What message do I want to share? Who do I want to help? Let your energy drive that mission. Maybe it's creating art that heals, or building a business with purpose. Maybe it's becoming a better parent, friend, or teacher. Maybe it's simply becoming the strongest, clearest version of yourself. Whatever it is, make it bigger than you. That's the secret. When you channel your energy into something that serves others, the universe helps you. You align with flow. You tap into divine assistance. That's why people on this path often say, things just started working out. It's not luck. It's alignment. 5. Healing and wholeness. Retention is not just about power. It's about healing. When you stop releasing carelessly, old wounds start to surface. Childhood pain, shame, loneliness, insecurity. You'll face it. You'll feel it. But now you have the strength to deal with it. Use your energy to heal. Cry when you need to. Forgive yourself. Speak kindly to your inner child. Let go of stories that no longer serve you. Your sexual energy has the power to repair, not just destroy. One powerful tool. Place your hands over your heart. Breathe deeply. Say, I am whole. I am healing. I am safe. Do it every morning, every night. You'll be shocked how deeply that energy starts to flow into your heart, your wounds, your soul. 6. Magnetism and attraction. This part isn't the goal, but it's real. When you retain and transmute, you attract. People notice your glow. They feel safe around you. Inspired. Curious. Your energy is no longer desperate. You're not chasing. You're holding. That's attractive. But here's the truth. You're not just attracting others. You're attracting opportunities, new ideas, better relationships, aligned paths. The things that once seemed far away now come naturally because your energy matches them. This is not fantasy. It's frequency. It's how energy works. Your energy is not a mistake. It's not random. It's not just biology. It's sacred. The ancient ones knew it. The mystics honored it. The Awaken protect it. You've now seen both sides, the cost of wasting it and the reward of holding it. But don't just stop there. Use it. Build with it. Rise with it. Your energy can create life. It can build empires. It can heal the world. So protect it like gold. Guard it like treasure. And share it only when it flows with love, with purpose, with awareness. This is the path of true mastery. And now it's yours.